Hey guys, Lighters here. I'm back, this time with a review on Wavern Armed Massive from the Beyblade burst line. So let's get started. The first thing that you'll see is the string launcher. So far, this bay is the first bay that comes with a string launcher in the burst series. All the other ones came with ripcord launchers. You could buy this with the stadium set, or you can buy it by itself, which costs $15, or you can get it with Wavern, and this bay itself with this launcher costed $15, so you're basically getting a free launcher. The only difference between this one and the other two ones is that the one with the stadium is a blue color, the one individual comes in a red color, and this one's a dark purple ooze color, which is pretty cool. So overall it's pretty cool. It's a little bit longer than the ripcord launcher, as you can see, mostly because of this. We have 3 grip and accessory sliders as opposed to 2, which comes on the ripcord launcher. Now also let's talk about how it is basically. One complaint that I have with it is that you see over here how it's mostly long, right? And it's really smooth. So you can hold it like this, or you can hold it like this for a better grip, as opposed to this. I wish that they would have kept the little indent that's right over here on the ripcord launchers, just because it's a much better grip like this. And with this being a little bit longer, I feel like it could have been a little bit better. But then with it being a little bit longer, you can hold it more comfortably, as opposed to this, which you just really couldn't. So even though it doesn't have that, you can at least go like this, which is a lot better too. So that's okay. One other thing that I noticed is that you see this shape up here where it connects with the Beylogger. Now then you see this little hole. See how it changes how it spins around in there? The string launcher only has 1 of this hole, not 2 compared to the ripcord launcher, as you can see over there. So that's pretty interesting. I'm not sure really how much of an effect they'll have with the Beylogger, but I don't think it will be that much of a problem. Now, comparing this to the Metal Saga one, let's take a look at the Old Dragon one. It's a little bit bigger in size, but the thing that I noticed with this is that the actual string part of it, the Metal Saga one's a little bit longer. That's okay, it's not that big of a deal, but I just wish they would have kept the same length, but that's fine. Also, moving on to these ports right over here, and to the Beylogger. The Beylogger will connect to it just like it does with the ripcord launcher, just like that. You cannot put it like this because this little edge around over here blocks it so that you can't, and that's mostly just because if you were to pull it like this, it would be a little bit hard for you to get a good launch, just because this would be blocking your freedom of movement up here. Now, how does this go on the grip? This is the complaint that I have with this string launcher, and also that goes with the Beylogger. When you're gonna put on a Beylogger on it, and you need to snap it in, it gets stuck, unlike the other ones, unlike with this and the other ripcord launchers I have. On this string launcher, it stays stuck, and one time I even had to hit something to make this unclick so that I can take it out, and that's a little scary, but it's getting better. I was just able to take it out, and I guess just over time taking it on and off, it'll wear it down a little bit, so it'll be easier. But the actual problem though is with the grip. First though, let's just quickly show how it looks like in all the ways. You have the right-handed people way, which is like this. I'm not going to put it all the way in, and I'll talk about it why in a moment. But this is the standard ripcord launcher, the standard string launcher method where you pull backwards. This is, then you have it like this, which is the way I use it. And then you have the left-handed option, which you can slide in like this and use it the traditional string launcher style. Or, because that there's no little wall blocking it like there is over here on these two, you can actually, for left-handed people, use it like this too. That's pretty cool. And just to quickly show you guys the Beyblade on all its modes. When it's gonna be like this, it kind of looks like a gun. Over here, it's like the standard ripcord launcher one, except it's not as on top of where your palm is gonna be, so that's pretty good. And then, I mean, if you make it for the left-handed people, just to show that off, have it like this, and then like that. So anyway, overall, with the ripcord, with the string launcher and the grip, I can't put it all the way in because it will get stuck, and I will have to use a lot of force to get this off. One time I even had to unscrew this entire grip just to remove the string launcher, so that's a little bit of a problem. I was just able to remove it just with using a lot of strength, so I guess the little parts that hold on to this edge over here is starting to wear down a little bit, so it'll become a little bit easier to take off over time. But just be careful when trying to remove it, because it's stuck in there and it takes a lot of force to take out sometimes. I didn't have this big of a problem with my ripcord launchers, but I have heard people that did. And then I heard something about the string launchers, and then the string launcher came and it's super stuck. But overall, my thoughts on the string launcher is it's pretty good. It's getting I need some getting used to. I haven't been able to get like the 3 flashing lights. I've only been able to get 2 on it, but it still is pretty good. As opposed to where the ripcord launcher, I'm always getting the 3 flashing lights. But that's enough about the string launcher. Let's actually get to the main bay itself. Wavern Armed Massive. Now, this is a bay that everyone was going crazy for, and then it came out and everyone hated it. But after like a week or two, everyone started to love it again. So let's talk briefly about that. So here we have all the pieces. Let's talk about Wavern first. For those of you who don't know, a Wyvern is a mythological creature from Welsh mythology. It's not a dragon like people think it is. It has a dragon's head, but that's it. It's sort of like those hybrid type creatures. It has a dragon's head, a reptilian body, it has wings and only 2 legs and a long pointed tail. So it's a pretty interesting creature. So it's not technically a dragon like people think it is, but it still is a pretty cool creature. So when this layer first came out, people thought it was going to be a left spin bay, just because the way that the 7 spikes around it comes around, as you can see the spike, and it's actually very reminiscent of Dragoon Galaxy, as you can see over here. But this one's left spin, and Wavern isn't. So Wavern's a right spinning bay. So far we do not have any left spinning burst bays, but that should come pretty soon. Anyway, it's got a nice purple color, again following that ooze purple color. I really like what they did with the head here. As you can see, there's the little teeth, and where this screw is on the back, and then there's that circle for showing where it is. They kind of, the way that they made the head open around it, it kind of looks like it has an orb in its mouth, so that's pretty cool. So we have 7 spikes going around it, and the colored plastic parts do come out of the clear plastic, and this does some additional damage, but it's mostly for deflecting. The way that it is, as you can see over here, is it's really smooth, and then there's an indent right here, and then it continues again with the spike. The way that it's designed, and the way, since it's really low compared to the other layers, for example here's Kirby's, as you can see it's very low, it bends downwards. The way it does that, and because of how these come out of the crystal, it's pretty good for some barrage attacks, and this is what people around the Beyblade community started to notice, that at first everyone didn't like it because they thought it was a useless layer, but it's actually pretty good with an Excel. So it's pretty good for balance combos and what the WBO is calling an active defense. So it's pretty good for reflecting some attacks when used in a good combination like with an Excel. Overall, I love this layer. It's really good, and I really recommend you guys get it. Now, moving on to Armed, the disc. This is probably the most, it's not the best disc, I guess. One of the reasons is because it's extremely hollowed out. And that shouldn't be too much of a problem, but it kind of is. But it's alright. We have a lot of cool designs in NDA for arm around it, so it looks like a pretty heavy tank. It looks like a giant shield. It's not that good because it follows the style that Wavern does. It's also going downwards, as you guys can see. So it also bends down, and what that does is, for example, Valkyrie. If you put Valkyrie on top of it, for example, here's Valkyrie like this, normal, but now if you put Armed on it, as you can see, it exposes its contact points a lot more just because it goes downwards. So this, depending on the combination, can be used for reflecting pretty good, but it also causes a higher chance of it bursting. So you would really need to use this Armed disc with a good combination. So hopefully not something like Valkyrie, because of just the way that it exposes the points too much. So maybe something like Kirby's or Death Scyther. I've actually used Death Scyther a lot on this in a combo I've made, and it does pretty good. But again, it's a very complicated disc because it's very hard to actually make it useful. Now, moving on to the final piece, we have Massive. Now, Massive is basically the wide ball of Burst. I had said that in my previous review that defense was going to be the ball of Burst, and here it is next to defense. So defense is like the ball, and Massive is the wide ball, and here's the wide ball from the Metal Saga. Again, it's a little bit smaller than the wide ball, but still, it's got 3 points coming out, unlike defense, which has 4, and there's no defensive ring around it like defense does. Overall, this piece, it's okay. Defense is a lot better just because it has a little bit more smaller surface area, so it's got a little bit more of an edge. Sometimes that's not the case, but it just works for defense. So Massive is just an okay piece. I would still pick defense over it. Also, then you'll have the extra defense with the ring around it, and Massive doesn't have that. But Massive is okay. It's a pretty decent piece. Also, one thing that I forgot to show off with the Arm disc is the way it's stylized. I did talk a little bit about it, but it actually resembles a lot of the rock wheel, just a little bit. But what it really resembles for me is the Bakushin wheel from Bakushin Susanoo, which is one of my favorite bays, as you can see. Just the design and the detail around it, it's actually very reminiscent of each other. So that's pretty cool. But yes, so overall, I highly recommend every blader gets this bay. One, because you're getting a free string launcher. If you were to buy a string launcher separately, it's gonna cost the same price as this bay, which comes with the string launcher. Two, Wavern is an awesome, great layer. Massive is an okay driver. It's like a backup or something. And Armed it's a little bit tricky. It's not the best disc, but you can make it work with the right layers, and as more layers is released in the future. So overall, I think everyone should definitely get this bay. It's a great bay, it's got a great color and aesthetics, and I love it. It's really good. Also, I just want to give a shout out to TBS2205, who's been a fan of my channel since, well, forever. So thank you so much for, staying by me and watching my videos over the years, even when I took that 2-year break. So thank you so much. And also, I just wanted to announce that my next unboxing video should be coming pretty soon. I'm just waiting for it to get in the mail. And it will probably be Odin Central Blow. So I'm just waiting for that to come out. And then also, I have a big lot unboxing video from someone pretty important in the Beyblade community. So stay tuned for that, and that should be out in about 3 weeks. So thank you so much for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later.